what's up? How many data storage solutions do you have today? And how many of them hold the same data, duplicated, copied, and just moved around to make things work? Well, that's the problem that OneLake was built to solve. In this video, I'll break down what OneLake really is. We're gonna look at shortcuts, access control, OneLake Explorer, OneLake Catalog, OneLake Events, and also cost and storage. So let's refresh the fundamentals and close those knowledge gaps. And if you're brand new to Fabric, this would be the perfect place to start. First of all, what is OneLake? Well, OneLake is the unified data lake for all of Fabric, meaning that it works for all your different workloads inside of Fabric. Whether you want to work with analytics or SQL or event streams or Power BI, it's built upon the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 technology, and it's also going to be automatically created for you for your Fabric tenant when you set up Fabric. So OneLake is the foundation of everything. But you know what we like to do here at Guiding Cube. Enough of all this talking, let's just head over to my laptop. Okay, let's first start with the OneLake Explorer, because you could think of OneLake as the OneDrive for data. That means, of course, that you can have OneLake inside of your file explorer just as you do with OneDrive. To get it started, you have to install the OneLake Explorer, and a good place to start is, of course, the documentation. We're gonna link to this below the video. Click on download the OneLake File Explorer like that. Then you just follow the installer prompts and click install. And we need to log in. So I'm gonna log in with the Gal in a Cube account. And then if I open up the File Explorer, you're now gonna see that we have OneLake here. So if I open up this one, you see that we have some folders here with different types of data. Let's open up the City Bike Oslo one. We see here that we have a notebook. We have a lake house. I can open up that one. And there we see, oh, we have some files. And wow, I can take a look at the data all the way down to the different files that I have inside of the OneLake Explorer. Now, if we head back to Fabric, we see that we have the same folders inside of the OneLake Explorer that we have as workspaces, because the different workspaces are gonna work as the hierarchical structure inside of OneLake. So here you also see, if I open up City Bike Oslo, open up the lake house, and open up the files, you see here that we have the same file here as we did in the OneLake Explorer. Now, the cool thing about this is that we can now drag and drop data into the different folders here, and then it's going to appear inside of Fabric. So let's say that I have an Excel file that I wanted to use here. And if I now go back to Fabric and refresh this folder, you see that the Excel has also now appeared inside of Fabric. How cool was that? Okay, next up, that's shortcuts. So shortcuts are these virtual folders that point to or reference data without actually copying it and duplicating it. OneLake manages all the permissions and the credentials, so you don't have to separately configure that for each integration. You can use shortcuts inside of Fabric, and you can also use it with external solutions. And it's really easy to do. So now we're inside of the lake house. You just click on this ellipsis. I'm gonna choose a new table shortcut. And here you see that I could have shortcutted to some external sources if I wanted to, but I have some data inside of Airbnb workspace that I want to utilize in this workspace and in this lake house. So I'm going to go into the Airbnb lake house. Then I'm going to find my table, and that is the dim neighborhood. So I want to pull in that one. Click next and then create. And ta-da! So now I have my neighborhood data inside of this lake house, where I can start utilizing it, pull it into my semantic model, connect it with my fact table, and so on. And you see that this little symbol here means that this data has been shortcutted. Cool. So next up is access control, and how does that work? Well, in OneLake, you have different levels of access that you can provide. You can set up the top level, which is workspace roles. You can use item level permissions, but you can also use folder and file level security. And you can also do row level and column level security, but it's in preview. So let's start on the top. If we go out to our workspace, the City Bike Oslo workspace, you could start out by giving access to the entire workspace. So you do that over here, manage access, and you add people, and then you can decide to give them access level of admin, member, contributor, or viewer. Now, this is going to give them access to the entire content of the entire workspace. The next level would be the specific items, where you can decide to share the items specifically, and then decide who can reshare, edit, or run this type of items. And when you're working with the lakehouses and warehouses, you can specifically say something about who can access different tables. And one way to do that is through the OneLake security setup. So if you take a look at that, you can here build and create your own roles. So if you create a new role here, so let's create a city bike fact general role, and who will be able to read this data, or I can also say that you can have read-write access if I want that. And then you can say that you want this to apply to the entire set of data for this lakehouse, or it could be selected data. So let's do that and browse our lakehouse. And I want this role to only apply to my fact table, this one, add that data. And then you can add the members that you want to add to this role. So I'm going to add Patrick and create role. Now remember that if you have already provided access to the overall workspace, those roles are going to be inherited. So use the principle of least privilege access when you're providing access to OneLake. Okay, so we looked at the OneLake Explorer, we looked at shortcuts, and we looked at access control. But you might still be like, where is the data? It's just still kind of all over the place, but now in OneLake. Well, let's take a look at these two solutions that's going to help you with the governance and control over what's going on inside of OneLake. And that is the OneLake Catalog and also OneLake Events. The OneLake Catalog is your data catalog for all the things that you have inside of Fabric. So this will be the place you would go to see things across workspaces, across folders, and better understand the content that you have. Now we have the Explorer solution that we have here. You can then decide to filter on your different domains, and you can filter on the different data types that you might have, or also on different tags if you are using that. And of course also on the different workspaces that you have. So let's open up one of these. You can get some more of the metadata, see what's in here, explore the content a bit more, and also just jump into what you might want to do. Maybe you want to write some DAX queries, open the semantic model, and so on. Now, the other tab over here is the Govern tab, and this one is really cool, I think, because what you can do here is to see more from a governance perspective, the overview of your items inside of OneLake. So for us, we have 7 domains, 9 capacities, a bunch of different workspaces, and a bunch of different items. It's also going to give us some recommended actions, for instance, that we should establish sources of truth with endorsements, because we haven't really endorsed that many of our items. If I click on view more here, you can dive more into the different details and really dig into what's going on with our data. And also I can stalk Patrick and see, wow, he has created most of the stuff that we have in here and making a mess. Just kidding, Patrick, I love you. Now, if you open up one of the recommendations, it's going to give us some more information. For instance, that we have not endorsed 1,685 items and only endorsed 10. So yeah, we could probably do better here. Now, it also got a secure tab where you can, instead of exploring the data, you can explore the different accesses that you have within the different workspaces. And if I open up the different workspaces here, for instance, I can see, okay, who got access to these? What type of access do we have? Also, if it's a user or if it's more of a security group, like we have here, and it's going to help you get that overview, insight on the security features. But what about the OneLake Events? If you open up the real-time hub that you have inside of Fabric, you're going to see here that we have something that you can subscribe to called Fabric Events. If I open that one up, we also have the OneLake Events here. And these are essentially events that are produced by actions on files or folders in OneLake, such as file created, deleted, or renamed. So what you can do here is to create an event stream to subscribe to this data specifically, and also set an alert if you want to get alerts when someone is doing something with your data. So this is also what you would do if you want to better monitor what's going on inside of your OneLake. Okay, so the last thing we're going to go through is the cost and storage. Fabric is using a pay-as-you-go storage model where you pay per gigabyte, and it doesn't consume any Fabric capacity units. To visualize your OneLake storage, take a look at your Fabric capacity metrics app. So if we open up that one and then we check out the storage here, you can then see what is the amount of storage that you have inside of OneLake that is going to be billable. And you can also take a look at what workspaces are consuming the most of your billable storage and so on. Wow, we so quickly went through all the things OneLake, and hopefully we closed some of the gaps. I think this could kickstart a bit of a series where we go back to the basics, because they're going to be even more important now with the MCP servers and AI and all of that. Hit subscribe as always. Remember to check out the other awesome videos from Adam, Patrick, and this gal right here. We will see you guys in the next video. Bye!